My name is Gabriel. I am a Tesla worker. I started working this past at the beginning of this year. So I'll repeat it again. My name is Gabriel. I've been working at Tesla since January. I started in January. I'm also an organizer with the NorCal Dandelion Collective out of Hayward here in Alameda County. I think Steve touched on a lot of topics and a lot of points that I'm going to touch about as well from a worker's perspective. Again, one of the questions I was asked earlier is what are my concerns? They just keep growing. My concerns keep growing, and earlier I shouted out that the inevitable has happened, right? What we knew was going to happen happened. It happened very early on of the opening of this factory. Elon Musk and Tesla have dumbed down, they have degraded this pandemic to nothing more than the flu, when in reality people are dying. People are dying. There's already thousands here in Alameda County that are infected with this virus, and they're adding to that. They're adding to the deaths of Black, Brown, Asian, API folks, and they're adding to just mistreatment of labor rights. And as a worker, I'm extremely concerned. I'm one of the few that have decided not to return. I'm not afraid to lose my job because I'd rather lose my job than my life. I keep continuing to yell out, health over profits. At this point, Tesla, all they care about is the profits. Elon Musk, all they care about is the profit. As Steve had mentioned, the PD, and obviously it's very popular to say to divert funds from the PD and actually give it to OSHA. Give it to Cal-OSHA and some health inspectors that belong in the factory. Cal-OSHA only has about 200 inspectors for the whole state of California. So why don't we get more Cal-OSHA inspectors, at least 1,000, so they can visit these factories and fields, right? Not one health official that is knowledgeable of factories has entered this factory. Tesla has claimed, they have sent an email to myself and other workers, they're claiming to be doing their own contact tracing. Isn't that convenient, right? That's super convenient that they're doing their own contact tracing, and they didn't come forward with any contamination until the Washington Post had an article about a week and a half ago. Then they came forward and they sent us an email about contamination, but we knew, the workers knew. I'm not even at work and I knew. There were already rumors. So when they asked me why haven't I returned to work, I'm scared for my life, right? I don't think, I don't trust that Tesla has the workers' best interest in mind. To mention or to re-mention what Steve has said, remember there are workers here. It's more like 15,000 workers in 10. It's between 10 and 15,000 workers. A good majority, I can visually attest, as I mentioned before, from 35 to 40% are contract workers. What that means is that they're temporary. They have no benefits. They have no paid sick leave. They have no health insurance. So if some of these workers are infected, they will not be paid if they were sick. And they have no health insurance. So it's criminal what Tesla is doing, and we're calling on Gavin Newsom and the Alameda County health officials and Cal-OSHA to do something about it. Are we going to stand still and idle while workers are losing their lives or workers are being infected and contaminated? And not just workers, because they bring it back to their homes, right? One of the things that the EHS department said, the Emergency Health and Safety at Tesla said, is that those folks that were contaminated or infected were through their family. How do they know that? How do they know that it was through their family members? They don't know that. Right, and if it were through the family members, one of the things I constantly hear in the emails is, if you feel sick, stay home. They would have stayed home when they were sick, right? And the issue is that it's hard to do contact tracing for the professionals that understand the pandemic and understand this crisis. Imagine an EHS department within this factory. If Tesla and Elon Musk have nothing to hide, if they have nothing to hide, then why don't they come forward with all the people that have been infected, right? Why are they keeping the employees in the dark? One of my colleagues I spoke to just a few weeks ago, almost 3 weeks ago, when the rumor started that folks were infected in the factory, and I actually worked on that line that the folks were infected. One of my co-workers said that he had a meeting with EHS, and EHS told him, it's not your business. It's not you or any of the workers' business to know who is infected. Go back to work is what they told him. And this gentleman that I spoke to, actually, his significant other has a weakened immune system. So could you imagine that? Could you imagine you being the reason why your loved ones are dying? Could you imagine you being the reason why your neighbors are being infected by this heavily contaminated disease, right? Again, Tesla, Elon Musk, do right for your workers. You should be shutting down for every case you have is what we ask you. Shut down and do a proper sanitation in the workplace. There has been no record of sanitation. I have not received not one email of them saying we have, even through the shutdown, we have sanitized every area. Yeah, they put up some screens from what I understand it. But still, what I hear is that, some of the workers don't believe in this pandemic, as we all know. People have their own opinions and don't believe in it. And so the workers don't believe in this pandemic and don't believe in this crisis. They're not wearing their PPE properly. Right? And there's from what I understand, there's no penalization for them, right? They're not forcing folks to wear the PPE properly. So the co-workers that I'm in contact with are afraid, and they're also afraid of coming forward. As you can see, there's not many of them here. Even though I contacted a few of them. Why? Because they're afraid. And they're also working 72 hours a week. That's 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, right? So again, Governor Newsom, where are you? Where are you? We are your citizens. We elected you. This is going to affect you. Remember, this is an election year. This is going to affect you. And it's going to affect a lot of the politicians in California, including the supervisors in Alameda County.
So you have not been to work?
I have not been. I refuse to go back to work.
And where the other people want to come out and join you, or where are they?
They're afraid they're going to lose their jobs. They're afraid to lose their jobs. They've been put between a rock and a hard place. Either come to work and contaminate the rest of your family or starve. And they decided to starve, but, they also don't want to lose their job in the future or burn any bridges. I don't, for me, I'm about my community. I'm here for the people.
What's your job standing now? Are you...
So about a few weeks ago, I want to say mid-May, or I want to say May 20-something, there was an email sent out to all of us saying that for the folks that have not returned to work by May 31st, it will be fired. But I don't think they have fired me. I have received no communication about being fired. I still receive the emails. I still have my credentials. I still have my ID. So I'm in limbo. I'm in limbo. And I haven't collected unemployment. I'm doing DoorDash now because I feel like DoorDash is even though it's terrible, it's less risky than being in a factory with 15,000 workers.
How long did you work there? What was your job?
I worked there since January, and my job was I was a production associate.
You started in January?
In January, yeah. I'm relatively new.
Okay, all right. How much were you making?
Per hour? Tesla starts you at $19 an hour. That's what they start you at. Both contracted workers and the full-time workers. Because they hire full-time. I'm not contracted, but I'm full-time. And with me, there were another 300 and something workers that were hired. A lot of them were contract workers. A lot of them.
You said this, but it's really noisy back here. Do you personally know, or have you personally observed other co-workers or workers who have come down with the illness?
I have not. I don't personally know them yet. But again, no one knows them. I don't know them. No one knows. They're not coming forward with it. So no, I haven't heard of any. Co-workers have said that one of my co-workers said that he knows one of the person that has been infected. So, and again, I haven't been back to work, and I'm relatively new, so I don't know everyone. Facebook group is called Tesla Workers Against COVID-19. And in the beginning of this pandemic, before Tesla went to shut down, I also created a petition which got hundreds of signatures, and I believe that's one of the reasons between that and putting pressure on the Alameda County officials, one of the reasons why Tesla shut down in the first place. Remember, they didn't want to shut down in the first place. They categorized themselves a critical infrastructure, when in reality they're not a critical infrastructure. And not only did they fail to open up, close when, or shut down when Alameda County decided to close all the factories down, but they also opened up earlier than everybody else. So again, the Facebook group that I created for Tesla workers, if some of you are here, is Tesla Workers Against COVID-19. You can find us on Facebook.